I'm vaguely aware of moonlight in my room when I sit up in my bed, heart beating painfully fast. What was I dreaming about? We haven't really dreamt about dear old father, with us being a kid. This is the first time, really. I wonder if that memory was for real or if it was tainted somehow. But I mean, considering the relationship they have, it could be real. It felt like I was dreaming about the king. But why now? A few days have already passed since I saw him. I fall back onto the bed. I close my eyes and once again attempt sleep, but it hovers stubbornly out of my reach. Ugh. What was that? Who could be making that noise at this time of night? I step out of my bed and head outside to investigate. There's no one here. The sound. It's coming from the tavern. Well, we're not going outside, so we can check. I slowly turn the knob and open the door. Hello? You've never watched a horror movie, have you, Lucette? Ah! Mr. Broom, we haven't seen you in so long. What's wrong, Mr. Broom? The broom begins to hop toward me. Ugh. I begin to back away. It's the middle of the night. There is no way I'm going to sweep now. But the broom just hops past to cower behind me. What happened? What is going on? That's some broom you got there. Waltz? What are you doing here? I couldn't sleep, so I decided to continue working on some of my puppets. But I accidentally stepped on the broom and it went berserk. I turn around and grab Mr. Broom, leaning it against its designated spot on the wall. But why are you here? I heard a sound. As curious as always. That's going to get you in trouble, you know. I don't need to be lectured by you. I apologize for waking you up. You should go back to sleep. I would not be here if I could sleep. I might as well stay for a while. If that's what you want. Waltz turns back to his puppets on the table. He leans down over the puppets, checking their seams. Since you're here, I think you can help me. Help you? Oh, it's a chameleon! Hi, Claude. What do you think of my newest puppet? I look at Walt with surprise. With his eyes so wide and his lower lip jutting out, he looks almost like a puppy begging for a treat. Is he expecting a compliment on the puppet? Well, I look closely at the puppet's eyes. It looks evil? Really? I'm glad to hear that. It's going to be the villain in my next show. Oh, Waltz, you're so mad at Carl. What did Karma do to you? Ah, goodness gracious. Thank you for the help, Princess. I'm glad that my mentor approves. Mentor? Waltz doesn't answer. That's it? Indeed. I only offered an opinion, but he looked so happy. What a weird person. Indeed. Waltz resumes his sewing in silence. He is very talented to be able to sew such a complicated animal. He's probably been doing this for a long time to be so skilled. Possibly even longer than I expect, considering the nature of his curse. You look like you've got something on your mind, Princess. Well, you have never actually told me how to break your curse. Ah, I guess I haven't. Waltz clears his throat as he goes back to his sewing. I need to find Tinkerbell in Neverland. Oh, right. You don't know the story. Mother burned all the fairy tale books in the palace before I could read most of them. Nobody would tell me any of the stories. Mother always forbid me from talking about them. Peter Pan is the story of a boy who never grows up. He's accompanied by a fairy friend named Tinkerbell, and the two of them live together in Neverland. In my case, Tinkerbell is a key that can open Neverland. Neverland is a box, a family heirloom. My shadow is being kept in Neverland. That shadow is my magic. Once I get it back, my curse will break. Magic? I'm a witch, Princess. He says it so nonchalantly, like stating what his job is. He and Alora are the same? I have seen Waltz conjure flowers from thin air before, but I never associated that with the type of magic that witches do. You're a witch? A cursed witch? How is that possible? Only the Tana Baron Bearer has the ability to curse another witch. It's why I can only do simple magic nowadays. If I ever want to cast proper spells again, I'm going to need to find Tinkerbell in Neverland. You don't know where Tinkerbell and Neverland are? No, I don't. Does that mean you're stuck in this form forever? How about a story? I feel annoyance begin to simmer inside of me. Why do you do that? You changed the subject to purposefully avoid answering me. No, that's not it, Princess. I'm trying to explain, and I think a story is the best way for me to do that. I am silent as Waltz reaches into his box of puppets. He pulls out 2 of them, then motions for me to sit in front of him. He holds out a puppet to me, and I can tell he intends for me to wear it on my hand. My feelings on the subject must show on my face, but Waltz is resolute. Please. I do not know what this will achieve, but maybe this way I'll finally get some answers. Fine. We're playing puppets together. Once upon a time, there lived a princess who was always alone. She spent most of her time inside her room as her mother, the queen, forbade her from going out. The princess's only company were her dolls. But the princess so badly wanted friends that she would always sneak out of the palace to play with the children who lived in town. It's as if he is narrating my childhood. Wow. I wonder if, Lucette. How do you... But Waltz continues speaking as if he does not hear me. Aw, that smile. One day, the princess met a boy. The boy was a few years older than her, and he was the queen's faithful servant. The boy could see how lonely the princess was, and his heart ached for her. They became friends. Every day he would sneak into her room and would play with her. They spent 2 years like that, until the queen found out. The boy was sent away and he never saw the princess again. Until a short while ago. I stumble back and the puppet slides off my hand as I stare at Waltz, my mind whirling. Aw, you guys have been friends since you were kids. It's too cute. We've known each other for a long time, Princess. This cannot be true. Waltz looks at me again, his expression full of melancholy. I always see that look. He wears it even when he is happy. He seems to carry that sadness with him wherever he goes. We were friends. I never had any friends. I would have remembered. That's what you remember. Your memories have holes in them. Gaps that you can't explain. How do you know that? Because I was there when the queen ordered that some of your memories be erased. Mother? But why? I don't believe you. I don't believe any of this. I didn't expect you to believe me. Why is he looking at me like that? He looks like he's in pain. But he cannot be telling the truth. I stand up straight, my hands clenched into fists. I'm going back to my room. I almost run from the tavern area. Waltz does not try to follow me. Aww. So you were sent away, but when did you come back to be an apprentice to the queen? That's what I want to know. I also want to know if we can get, like, a picture of Tiny Mithros. I imagine him and Waltz being rivals from kids. Waltz's words loop persistently in my mind. We were friends. I sit on one of the chairs in the reception area trying to put my thoughts in order. There is no way that he was my friend. Oh, what is this? What a delight to run into the princess at this hour. Though I must ask, why are you still awake, darling? I jump at the sound of Karma's voice. I turn to look at him. Karma frowns at the expression on my face. You look like you've seen a ghost. I can only stare at him in response. Oh my, is my beauty so captivating you find yourself at a loss for words? No, I was just thinking. About how beautiful I am? His ego knows no bounds. I roll my eyes and change the subject. What are you doing up this late? A nighttime stroll. I found myself filled with ennui. Right. I will go and retire for the night now. Have a good sleep. It'll be another long day tomorrow. You do not have to remind me. You still have a ways to go before you get used to the commoner's lifestyle. I certainly struggled with it. Karma barely works. I only ever seem slack off. But wait. Are you a noble, Karma? Perhaps. Perhaps? Perhaps. This is going nowhere. This tavern is full of secretive people. I wonder if this lifestyle has anything to do with his curse. Well, I am not planning to get used to the commoner lifestyle. I will break my curse as soon as possible. Seems like we both have a long way to go before that happens, Princess. Claude. Oh.
We don't want to play with you anymore. But why? We are friends, are we not? Friends? Who said that? You did. We were friends until you stopped sharing your toys. But that is because you still haven't... What? You haven't returned the toys I gave you. Return them? You gave them to us. No, I did not. Let's go play with our real friends. Yeah, our real friends aren't selfish.
I warned you, dearest one. Didn't I tell you? People will only hurt you in the end. That's why I forbade you from playing with those children. I only ever want what's best for you.
I'm sorry, Mother. I'm so sorry.
Hush now, dearest one. Mother won't let anyone hurt you anymore.
Oh, no. Family. We are family. 3 weeks have passed since my encounter with the king. I am once again in town with Waltz as he prepares for one of his shows. I've already lost count of how many of his shows I have watched at this point. The excursions have become part of my daily routine. Waltz has been insistent on training me as his assistant, so I've decided to play along. Even now, I am helping him construct his booth, though he refuses to let me carry anything too heavy. Aw. I have experienced so many new things these past few months. Things I had always wanted to experience, but had never told anyone about. Somehow Waltz knew about all of them. Even when he told me that we were childhood friends and insisted that my memories of him had been erased, I hadn't believed him. But now, I am beginning to believe that he is telling the truth about this forgotten friendship. Waltz smiles at me from where he is assembling the front of the booth. You used to dream about getting out of the palace to see Angielle. And now you're here. You can't imagine how happy I am that I can finally fulfill all of the promises I made to you. Aww. I still have reservations about believing your story, but... Waltz, even if you did know me a long time ago, I am not the same. I hand him the small curtains for the booth, my head dipped so that I do not have to look him in the eyes. I am not the child you used to know. I know that. But I also believe that the girl that I knew all those years ago, the one who was always so happy over the smallest things, that kind, sincere girl, she's still you. How can that be when I don't think I've ever truly known what happiness feels like? After Waltz hangs the curtains, the booth is complete. I expect him to step out from the side as he always does, but he sets his palms down on the table instead and looks at me. When I saw you again that day, I was so happy. I thought fate had brought you back to me. Waltz's voice is very soft when he speaks. But then you still didn't recognize me. Waltz's voice trails off and I frown. There are still so many things he is not telling me. Eventually, Waltz picks up his box of puppets and smiles at me brightly. Anyway, I've got a show to perform. Don't go anywhere. I notice that his smile does not reach his eyes as I watch him walk away. I look out at the crowd that has gathered for the show. There are a lot of families here today. I watch as two families approach each other. The adults begin to converse with each other while the kids run up to the front of the crowd to catch a better glimpse of the show. Some of the children have shoes, but the parents are barefoot. All their clothes are dirty and torn. Their lives are clearly hard, but they are still smiling. I have never been in desperate need of clothes or food. I have never had to work for anything. I should have been happier than these people when I was a princess. But now, I'm beginning to see that the material things that I had were never enough to buy me true happiness. Hello, everyone. I take a step off to the side as Waltz begins his show. Waltz weaves his stories as seamlessly as he always does, captivating his audience with every word, but I'm not paying attention. My focus is locked on the two families standing near me. When I see these people, I cannot help but wonder, what kind of life have I been leading? Waltz's show was a success yet again. He is smiling from ear to ear as he counts the coins he has earned as a reward for his good performance. You look happier than usual. I am. I've been saving money for a special toy, and now I can finally buy it. He says he does not like to be treated like a child, but he gets so excited whenever he mentions a new toy. I pause at the sound of laughter and look up to see a group of children talking excitedly to each other as they approach Waltz and I. Ah, this might be an opportunity. An opportunity? Making these children happy might be a good deed. What? Waltz ignores me as he jogs up to the children. Waltz! The group of children swarm him, talking loudly as they each try to cling to him in some manner.
We've been waiting forever for you to come back.
But I was here a couple of days ago. But you didn't have time to play.
Can we play now? Please, please, please.
We've been good, just like you told us. The boy looks around at the group of children, and they all nod their heads with eager agreement. Well, if you've been as good as you say, how could I say no? The children cheer. I'm going to start counting now.
Come on!
He won't find us this time. The children disperse around the area. I watch them go with disinterest. That's your cue to hide, Princess. What? Why do I need to take part in this? You don't want to play? But we used to play hide and seek all the time. I am fairly certain I have never played a game like this with anyone before. Is this another memory that was taken from me?
Big sister, play with us!
A little girl runs up to me and begins to pull me along with her. Hey. I look at Waltz, but he only smiles at me. It seems like I don't really have a choice. Waltz turns to face a wall. He covers his eyes and begins to count. Before I can react, the little girl has let go of me and is running off. What is going on? I turn and see a boy hiding behind a barrel. You have to hide before he finishes counting. They didn't even explain the rules of this game. How was I supposed to know what to do? I look around me to find places that I might hide. Maybe behind the tree? Behind the fountain would also work. Or those wooden crates. Oh. Which one of these places should I hide in? Oh no. This might be my time to save scum. You're not gonna be able to hide behind a tree. That never works. Behind the fountain, maybe? If it was me, I would hide behind the crates. One of these two. I'll pick the crates. If it doesn't work out, I'll try the fountain next. Ready or not, here I come. I cannot believe I am sitting on the dirt to avoid being seen. My dress is getting soiled because of a child's game. Found you? Ah! My heart begins to race as I turn to look at him, but I realize that Waltz has found one of the children. Oh good, I was just about to reload, like, no, don't find me! Oh, it wasn't me. Wait, why am I worried about being found? Got you. Every so often I hear Waltz proclaim that he's found someone, but He still hasn't found me. Do I get something if I win this game? Prizes?
You still haven't found Big Sister yet.
You're right. Where could she be hiding? This is quickly becoming boring. Found you. Ugh. I jump when I hear WALTZ'S voice behind me. He looks down at me in triumph. You won, Princess. I won? Looks like you're an expert at this game. Hooray! I am not. You just did not look hard enough. That doesn't change the fact that you still won the game. You should be happy. Great job, Princess. WALTZ pats me on the back and smiles once again before he turns his attention back to the children. He is right. His praise makes me feel strangely happy. Why? Right, everyone. That's it. The children begin to whine, clearly disappointed. We only played one round. Now, don't be like that. I promise to play another game with everyone soon. Now run along. I'm sure your parents are looking for all of you. One of the children, a little girl, tugs on my sleeve.
Thank you for playing with us, Big Sister. Please come again.
She smiles up at me before skipping away to join the rest of the children. Aw, we're spending so much time with kids this time around. All the children head off together back toward the residential area of the town. They like you. How do you know that? Didn't you see how happy they were when you joined in? Children are so easy to please. That's why I envy them. Adults aren't like children. They worry too much and don't appreciate the small joys in life. As we grow up, we forget how to be happy. Forget how to be happy? WALTZ may be right about that. When I was younger, my dolls brought me so much joy, but now... Hey! Anyway, since you won, you deserve a treat. Treat? You'll like it, I promise. Do tell. I like treats. I sit on a wooden bench waiting for WALTZ to return. He said it would be easier for him to go alone because he wanted to surprise me. I did not protest. I have been on my feet all day, except for when I was sitting on my butt in the dirt during that game. I never thought I would be running around playing with children. I wonder what this treat is going to be. Every time we come to the plaza, it is always packed with people. Most of the popular shops are clustered in this area. I observe the town quietly before my eyes land on the statue of the king. He looks noble, riding a rearing stallion. The sight makes my heart twist uncomfortably. I am pulled out of my thoughts when a child trips and falls in front of me. He begins to cry. Should I do something? But before I can react, a man and a woman are there, pulling the child up. The man takes the child in his arm as the woman rubs his back. There, my love. Mama and Papa are here now. I watch as they slowly walk away, the mother still crooning to her child. Mother would always get angry at me if I was about to cry. I wonder what it's like to be comforted like that. Aw. Sorry to keep you waiting. Are you okay? I keep the family in sight for as long as I can before turning to WALTZ. I am fine. Here. Oh, a candied apple. What is this? A candied apple. A long time ago, I promised that I would bring you one, but I wasn't able to keep that promise. That's why I'm fulfilling it now. I do not recall such a promise. I twirl the candy, inspecting its glazed and shiny appearance. I didn't know you could make an apple look like this. I promise there are no poison apples here. These ones are just sweet. I sniff at the candy. Sweet. Nom. I take a small bite. Well, I become so immersed in my taste test that I do not even hear WALTZ. The candied apple tastes like nothing I've ever tried before. This is good. I take another bigger bite. Is that a smile I see, Princess?
What? I wasn't smiling at all. Was I?
When I get some extra money from my shows, I'll make sure to treat you again. I have lots of favorites to show you.
There are more desserts like this?
Of course. I'll make sure you try all of them.
Walt stands and moves over to a trash bin so that he can dispose of his finished apple. Man, that was fast.
It's getting late. Let's go back to the marching.
Okay. Ah, Waltz the Big! You can't just show up like that. Stop my heart. The next few weeks become a blur. I continue to help out in the tavern while sometimes accompanying Waltz for his shows. Though Waltz continues his lessons on goodness, I have yet to gain a single good deed. I am slowly starting to lose hope. It has been months since I was cursed, and I still have yet to complete a single good deed. Today I have been assigned the task of serving marching customers. I honestly prefer my duties with Mr. Broom. At least I do not have to mingle with all these people. I have only just entered the tavern when I freeze at the sight of a familiar face. Fritz! Oh, this music! How are you here in the tavern? I just realized. This is the first time we've ever seen Fritz in the tavern. Fritz? His posture is stiff, his arms are crossed, and he is obviously uncomfortable. What is he doing here? How did he get in here? I walk toward him, but do not get far before he is in front of me, down on one knee with his head bowed.
I finally found you, Your Highness.
How does he remember me? How did he find me? Fritz.
Princess, I have no idea what is happening, but the whole kingdom... Everyone has completely forgotten you, and...
Let us go somewhere else to talk. I interrupt Fritz when I notice all of the stares around the room.
Not so fast.
Seemingly from nowhere, Jurian and Garland are in front of me, separating me from Fritz.
Lady Jurian, Sir Garland, I was told you left Angielle. What are you two doing here? I could ask you the same, Sir Fitzgerald. What are you doing here?
Fritz is at a loss for words as he stares at Jurian, confused. Answer the question, Sir Fitzgerald. Garland, I'm glad you're alive.
What are you doing here?
I am quickly reaching the end of my patience. Just let me talk to him. Neither Jurian nor Garland back down. If anything, they only look more ready to draw their swords.
I don't trust him.
As I look at the three of them, I remember the story of Jurian and Garland's dismissal from the Order of Caldera. Sir Alcaster was the one that dismissed them, so perhaps they hold some type of grudge. Is it because Fritz is Sir Alcaster's son? I do not know why you do not trust Sir Alcaster, but Fritz is a completely different person. He is my knight. He would never harm me. We have our reasons for doing this, Princess. I rub at my forehead with my hand to try and dispel an impending headache. I swear, you lot are like a bed of snakes. Stop hissing at each other. Delora walks in from behind me, swatting at Jurian and Garland to move them. Yit, yit. She smiles at Fritz before turning to beam that same smile at Jurian and Garland. If you are so concerned, then feel free to chaperone the princess with her knight. I'm sure the two of you can handle it if he tries to do something funny. Fritz's voice is quiet when he speaks.
You know I would never hurt her. Fine.
Seriously, guys. I glare at Jurian and Garland when we are in the reception room. Thankfully, they take the hint and retreat to the opposite wall far enough to give Fritz and I some privacy. Fritz speaks as soon as I sink into a chair.
I haven't seen you in 4 months, Princess.
It's been that long already?
Did you know how worried I was when I woke up one day and realized that Princess Emmeline was in your place? To make things worse, no one remembered you. Not even the king. When I brought up Crown Princess Lucette, everyone thought I was delusional.
Where do I even begin? I decide to start with the facts of my curse and how I am meant to break it.
So you have the Cinderella curse, and that's the reason you've remained in the Marchen.
Yes.
And you need to complete 3 good deeds to break it.
That is right.
And how many good deeds have you accomplished, if you don't mind me asking? I frown as I shake my head. None. I do not think I am capable of doing good. Of course you are. I look up in surprise at Fritz's impassioned declaration. Let me start with this. I knew even when we first met that I was not what you were expecting. I wouldn't be surprised to know that I even disappointed you. But you never said a word of complaint, even in the beginning when I made lots of mistakes. And we both know how clumsy I was in the beginning. There is kindness in you, Princess. I know this for a fact. Even when I look away, I can still feel Fritz's eyes and smile directed at me. Anyway, so if everyone has forgotten who you are, how is it that I can still remember you? There is only one reason that makes any sense, though it brings up more questions than answers. Those who have the Fairytale Curse are not affected by the conditions of another person's curse. Ugh. Wait, are you saying that I am cursed? Unless you are secretly a witch or a fairy. No, I'm definitely human. I can assure you of that. What about Lady Jurian and Sir Garland? Jurian speaks up from her corner of the room. Though the knights have been feigning disinterest, there is no doubt they are listening in on our conversation. We aren't cursed, so unfortunately we don't remember Princess Lucette being, well, crown princess. We only found out when she came here. I see. Fritz's distress is apparent as he looks grimly down at the floor. He hasn't admitted to having the curse, which means that he either does not know he has it or refuses to tell me. I can't believe this. How could I have the Fairytale Curse and not know about it? Have there been no differences in your life lately? I suppose I've been more forgetful lately. Does that count? You've always been forgetful. I know. Fritz's posture stiffens as Jurian walks toward us from the other end of the room. Her arms are crossed and her gaze, directed at Fritz, is filled with suspicion. How were you able to find this place? Fritz looks back at me as if asking permission, and I nod. I've been dispatching scouts throughout Angielle to look for the princess ever since she disappeared. A girl matching her description was seen in this area, entering this house. When my scouts entered this place, they found it empty and abandoned. I figured that this was as good a place as any to start looking for traces of her. Though I was expecting an empty house, not a tavern full of people. Only those with the curse or certain permitted people such as Jurian and myself can enter this place and see it for what it is. So I really am cursed then. Fritz is silent for a few moments as he considers what was just said to him. That does explain things, though not as much as I'd like. Fritz stands. I still have many questions to ask, but I am expected back at the palace. Fritz turns to look at Jurian and Garland. I'm shocked he hasn't insisted to take us back with him, like when we were on his route. I don't know why the two of you are here, but I'm glad that you are. I know I can trust you to keep the princess safe. Please, take care of her. You don't have to tell us twice. Fritz smiles in reply before turning once more to bow to me. Until we see each other again, Princess.